Hi, guys. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I've always wanted to say that. Today, I will be interviewing my dad, Armando Lacerda, and everything about his career journey and the ups and the downs, all the details. So let's go ahead and add him to this call.
Hey, hello everybody. Good to be
Hey,
here.
Dad.
Hey baby, good to see you again.
Good to see you. Let the crowd know, where are you calling?
Well, I'm here in California, in Northern California, pretty close to the Napa Valley, and I'm calling from my home office.
Awesome. I am all the way in Brazil. I'm in the capital of Brazil, Brasilia. So we're about 3,000 miles away.
I would say more.
More?
Yeah,
Don't fact check us.
nah.
On today's agenda, we're going to talk about your career beginnings, your growth, your milestones, all of your challenges and lessons, and then we'll end with some advice for future students and tech professionals that are wondering what to do after high school.
Sounds great. I have been on the road for a while, just as a trainer. It's about 30 years. And as you know, we're going to revisit this story today. I started very, very young. So I'm on this road for over 40 years.
Incredible. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started.
Let's go.
So for our first question, what inspired you to choose your career path, and was there a defining moment?
Many defining moments in my career path. And there was a very specific moment when I felt in love with technology. When I was
Mhm.
a very young boy, I was a teenager, 13 years old boy, and I was walking around the department store in my hometown in Rio. And there was this TV set with a little keyboard in front of it. So I sneaked through people to get up front. They gave me this piece of paper and told me, type this in, put your name in between quotes, hit that key, and you see what happens. And when I did that, my name showed up on TV on the screen. And I was like, wow, my name on TV. My mom is not going to believe this. So I rushed back home and I told the story to my mom, and my family invested time and money on me. They put me
Mhm.
on a school, on a
Yeah.
technical school there to learn about
Mhm.
how to program computers. And
Right.
that's how I started. Like it was a toy, a puzzle for a little boy. And I start feeling that thing was important because people asked me to do things on the computer, and I was able to do it, and people gave me money. I say, wow, great, I like this. Well, at the beginning, it was just that sense of accomplishment. I was in classroom, and I learned something new about how to do something on the computer. And I went to the computer, tried that thing, and I was able to make it run. Some other people were not able to do that, and were like,
Right.
and I was like, yeah, I think I can do this. So I start, getting new challenges and doing new programs, writing new programs, software,
Mhm.
and get things going.
So, Dad, what was your very first job, and what did you learn from it?
Well, my very first job was with the Brazilian Navy as an intern, of course.
Of
I was
course.
like a 14, 15 years old boy. And the old computers they have, not old, the computers they have back then were called mainframes, like the IBM 370 and the DEC, mainframe computer they used to have there. And the microcomputers were coming in, and I was trained on the microcomputers. So
Mm.
they hired me there as an intern, and I started
Mhm.
collaborating with the developers. They were already there,
Right.
and it was super fun because I got to have time on the mainframes, and working with punch cards and
Yeah.
working with systems that are no more anywhere. And one of the things I learned, and one of the life lessons that I learned there, is to learn. I really learned to keep myself on my lane, because I
Yes.
was so intense with everything new that I was learning, and I want to share everything that I knew. So people were coming to the microcomputer where I was working, and I was trying to help them doing stuff, and they're like,
Mhm.
"Hey, shush, stay there. If I need your help,
Wow.
I'll call you."
Mhm. I feel like that is such a big thing for any job in any career when you start off, right? As a intern and you want to do all these like new things, there's always someone higher than you telling you to stay in your lane.
Yes, you talk to everybody, you socialize with everybody, but you don't jump in. Like there was this particular moment. Look, it was about 40 years ago. That thing's still fresh in my head.
Wow.
There was this developer there working on the computer, and he was trying to do something. I saw, I was watching him over his shoulder what he was trying to
Mhm.
do, and I approached him. Hey, let me show you how to do this. And he was like, "Who asked your help?"
Oh, there we go. That's a big lesson for all of us, for sure.
Yep.
So, looking back, what was the most pivotal moment in your professional journey?
In school, the feeling that I was able to solve problems on the computer, that was a very pivotal thing, a moment for me, because it was like, I think I can do this. When I was at the Navy at the DNH, I started collaborating with other people, which was great. But then my time there was over. Technical school where I got trained contacted me and say, "You want to come back and start training here and training, new students here?"
Mhm.
And I was like a 16-year-old boy, and I said, "No, sure, man, just 16." I said, "No,
Right.
you know these things. You can come and do
Mhm.
it." And I was unsure if I was able to teach anybody, share knowledge with anybody. So that
Yes.
was a very defining moment, because I was working a new job with the city of my hometown, the city of
Mhm.
Niterói, and there was a professor there, and he looked at me and said, "I'm gonna give you the way of the land, the stepping stones, how to do these things.
Yes.
You're gonna do good in classroom." And that was a defining moment. To today, to this day, over 30 years, I'm a trainer. I'm a certified trainer with Microsoft and other vendors.
Mhm.
So that was another defining moment for me. And later down the road, like when I was 19, 20, when I started working with different kinds of systems,
Mhm.
um, getting to understand the benefits for the business of what I was doing. It was not just like a toy or a puzzle to be fixed, but it was
Mhm.
actually to help people to accomplish more on what
Mhm.
they do for the company, so the company can excel and everybody benefits from that. That
Right.
was another defining moment for me, among a few others.
Yeah. And what is like a big accomplishment you're the most proud of?
You see, the thing about working with computers, especially on the software side, because you
Mhm.
can work on the hardware side and you build up, like today you would build up data centers, and that's a big accomplishment. Here in the US, there are many rural towns that are welcoming new data centers there, because they bring in new profits. And I'm still am into software and programming. And one of the my first major accomplishments was this university in the rural area of Brazil. Not rural, but not the main capital.
Yeah.
Was a university town. There were like 5 or 6 universities there, and this particular university, they had a computer system there to do registrations. People come in to register to take an exam, so they can be evaluated if they can join the university or not. And they had like 30,000 people coming in to take that exam, and the computer system was not able to process those. So they hired the consulting company I was working for in partnership with IBM,
Mhm.
and it was super fun because in 4 months we were able to write that system, and the registration season came up, and the system worked, and everybody was happy,
Wow.
and it was great to be
Mhm.
part of the team. It was not just me. I was doing some part of the programming and some part of the database, and the whole team worked together, get everything to work, all the terminals everywhere around campus. It was a good feeling. That one was a good feeling.
I love it. I love it. When I think of your accomplishments, I think it's really cool that you were one of the first Brazilians to use Excel when it first came out and the first ones to teach it, right, to the people here, my uncle included. So I think that's a really cool bragging, right, that I have, that I could say that my dad was one of the first users of Excel 30 years ago.
Yeah, because Excel is like the third installment or the third generation of a collection of applications to do that spreadsheet kind of calculation. And the very
Mhm.
first one I worked with was called VisiCalc, which was for other computers that don't exist anymore. They're a piece of museums today. But
Wow.
VisiCalc was the main idea, the very first software to do spreadsheets. And from VisiCalc, another company released a more powerful version of the same concept, which was
Mhm.
Lotus 123. And I was already working on Lotus. And then when Microsoft came up with Excel, I was teaching already there. I say, look, this is the guy. This one here will stay.
This is the future.
Yeah.
Throughout your career journey, what was the biggest challenges that you faced and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, there were a couple hurdles on my way that made me think twice if I want to stay on my career path. There were many challenges, and one of the main challenges to anyone who work with technology is to keep pace with innovation.
Mhm.
There is a new thing coming up. Like, can you imagine that just like less than 2 years ago, there was no ChatGPT and AI had a completely different meaning. And in two
Mhm.
years, in the space of 2 years, the whole landscape has been revolutionized.
Mhm.
And just last week, I was in these workshops with people that are, they connect with end users, then trying to show them how to use AI to help them on their own workloads, to so
Mhm.
they can count like 10 people instead of one of them. There was actually a kind of a funny thing that I made for them. The movie Despicable Me, you got the
Yes,
Gru, the
the
character,
Gru. Yep.
and AI is your minions, right? If you
Right.
work with AI correctly, you can create many minions to help you out doing your work, so more work can be done faster in a
Yes.
short period of time. So that's a big hurdle, like I told you, just mentioned. We started with VisiCalc, and then VisiCalc
Mhm.
had a competitor, and then you
Mhm.
have to make sure that you're looking through the whole landscape and choose the right next thing after
Mhm.
the one you are currently working with. So
Right.
keeping pace with these innovations is always a big challenge. And a couple of times I have chosen the wrong path, like late in the 90s when the
Mhm.
web development was the big thing back then.
Right.
Um, Most companies, they had proprietary platforms to develop web applications. And I end up choosing one that was not the best one, was not that one that prevailed. And then
Right.
all the systems I was developing, they're like, no, nobody's gonna use this thing, nobody's gonna use this technology in 2 years anymore.
Dang.
What am I gonna do?
Yes.
So we have to press on and learn the next new thing. Keep always tuned in with what is going on and where
Mhm.
the market is going to, where the industry is actually going to.
Was there ever a time that you thought about giving up or things weren't going right? Like, what kept you going? What kept you motivated to do this 30, almost 40-year career journey?
That's a great question, because the challenges of keeping up with technology, they never put me down in a way like, I don't want to do this anymore. The pace is too fast. I kind of like these challenges. What made me think twice about continuing on the computing careers was mostly around projects and the people involved in the projects. For instance, down there in Brazil, I was working for this insurance company, and the company was going through some hurdles. They're leaking money. They're actually, they
Yikes.
end up bankrupt back then
Oh,
after I
no.
left. But during my time there, there was a lot of tension among the
Mhm.
teams, and I'm like, I don't need this. I don't need to to keep in so much pressure with things that are
Right.
not really related to computers.
Mhm.
So I came with my manager and said, you know what, I'm gonna leave this thing here. This is too much pressure for me. I'm gonna go and be a cab driver. I'm gonna drive taxis up and downtown
Easy money.
town.
You wanted to sign up to do Uber.
Yeah, if Uber was back then, I would
Mhm.
probably be a Uber driver. And the funny thing, the blessing that one is, my manager came to me when I told him I was my intention to leave. He was like, "If you want to live, fine. Even you want to be a cab driver, it's a profession. No, it's nothing wrong with being a cab driver. But if I can give you some advice, finish your degree, close up this project here, and then you go do your cab driving thing, because then you're gonna have options. You can be a
Right.
cab driver, or you can
Mhm.
stay in the industry. But if you leave now, before you finish your degree and before you finish this project, so you can have it on your resume,
Mhm.
you're gonna live out of here with empty hands, and that's not gonna be a good career move for you. So think
Yeah.
twice. It's all about timing. And he actually saved my career, because I'm not sure if I would be still working with computers if I have left that back then.
Wow, that's crazy. What is his name? I have to thank him.
It's a good friend of mine. His name is Jorge Costa. He lives in
Mhm.
Rio. His brother Levi Costa is also a great friend of mine. We still keep in touch through social media. We talk from time to time, and he is actually a professor too.
Look at that. That's so cool. And that's something you always instilled in me is to finish what you started and to have options, and even though you haven't mentioned it yet, but you were also a pastor during your career while you were growing your tech career. You're also being a pastor, and you always instill that in me, and I think my sister Evelyn, of starting or finishing what you started, but also time and place and giving yourself options. Right? You always talked about if one day you're not a pastor anymore, then what are you gonna do? So that's the option thing.
Yeah, it's what they call on the pastoral side. Is what they call a bivocational pastor. You have your professional career, and you
Yeah.
also contribute with community. You share about the love of Jesus, and with that, you can have a different impact on community, right? Because you have something different to contribute with.
If you could give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would
One is it sounds strange based on the story I already mentioned, but one is to have more fun, because I
mm,
was so geek when I was a kid. I was
uh,
deep into the books all the time, trying to learn as much as I could. Try to, what's the next programming language? How do I deal
mhm,
with that particular processing unit? And even though I was living in Rio de Janeiro, by the beach, I
mhm,
would tell my younger self, "Hey, enjoy more of that beach, man. Go there and surf a little bit more. Play ball there at the sand.
yeah,
Yeah, keep studying, but not so hard.
it's about balance. It's all about balance.
All about balance." Well, it paid off. Now I can do surfing today. It's
You can
fine.
do it whenever you want. Yes.
It did pay off. The other one is, I would repeat the advice that my father gave to me.
Mm,
My father, my family was a broken family. My father divorced. My parents divorced. My father, I got to see him like once in a month. And when we got together, one of the things that he told me many, many times that's still impressed in my head is like, if you want to be someone in life, if you want to be something in life, keep learning. Never stop learning. So
yes.
keep learning. So that
Mhm.
one I would repeat to myself again: never stop learning.
Yes, and you repeat that to me as well. You keep that going.
It was a good advice.
Great advice. Great advice. Talking about learning, what skills do you think are essential for success in your field today?
So my field today is in data, right?
Mhm.
I'm awarded a Microsoft MVP title, which is a recognition that Microsoft gives to professionals when they contribute to the community and when they have good technical accuracy.
Mhm.
So I got blessed with that with that award. Actually, I'm in my seventh year of
Wow.
getting that award, which is pretty
Mhm.
cool. The most important skill today is very different than when I started, focusing on data about 25 years ago. Back
Mhm.
then, we want to do transactional systems that, like when you go to Amazon and buy something at Amazon, you have a transaction on there. When you go to the bank,
Yeah.
make a deposit, you have a transaction. That was the focus of computing back then. Nowadays, the focus is way more into AI. The innovation goes way a lot around AI, artificial intelligence, and
Right.
the fuel for artificial intelligence is data. So you got to learn. If you want to go into working with AI, you have to learn about data. You don't really have to learn much about math, depending on what you're doing. So there is this thing
Mhm.
about people thinking that if I want to work with computers and AI, I have to be really good on math. That is true to some degree because
Mhm.
AI are just statistical models, many of them, and they work with vectors and a matrix of vectors. So a lot of math goes in there. But if you're a regular person, not a math geek or something, and you want to use AI and work with data, you really don't have to worry much about math.
Good news.
One of the most important skills nowadays is called prompt engineering. Prompt engineering, which is how you use human language to interact with these math models in the back end, is one of the
Oh,
most important things. Like, it can save you tons of time and can help you create your minions to help you with your job.
wow, that's a
So
good tip. Yes.
yeah. So, learn prompt engineering. It's a very important skill. If you want to go deeper, then learning how to create agents, which is the
Mhm.
synonym on how to automate tasks using AI as the engine to get tasks automated. And if you want to go even deeper, then you learn about data structures, data models, and how to organize data in a way that AI can benefit from it.
That's so awesome. I didn't know well, I use AI a lot in my college classes and stuff like that, and it's all about the prompt that you give the AI machine. And now there's even an AI machine to have your prompt translated into an AI prompt that will help you get the answers that you want to get. So it's really cool to see how important it is to know this engineering behind AI and how to cater to it, like speak its language.
Yeah, and it goes in multiple directions. There are multiple angles where this applies. Software development, for instance, if you do a good prompt, you can build up a website in 10 seconds. The machines, they have seen so much out there that if you hit it the right way, they will spill out exactly what you need.
Right. I'm excited to see where your field goes and where the tech field goes in the next 5 to 10 years. Do you have any predictions of what you think will happen?
Yeah, I have a crystal ball there, but it's not working.
Right.
So it's hard. Like, if you asked me this question 3 years ago, I would never tell you that AI would be where AI is.
Mm.
So if you discount disruptions like those,
Mhm.
when someone comes up with a very bright new idea and technology that really works,
Mhm.
what I see in the next like 5 years is everybody benefiting from what AI can bring.
Mhm.
It, watching TV, I was watching UFC last night, and in the middle of between punches and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu moves, and in between Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu moves, there was AI commercials coming in, like from Pizza Hut. Get your pizza with AI.
Wow. Uh-huh.
So now, from this point on, AI is going to be more and more present in every single business and the way they present themselves. If you say, I'm a teacher, but I don't know AI, I'm not going to be hired. I
Mm.
make bicycles, and if there is no AI in the bicycle, I'm not going to be I'm not going to be able to sell that thing. So in the next today's already like this. In the next 5 years, I think AI is going to be the hallmark, the stamp of approval for anything that comes out. Now, how
Yeah.
you're going to benefit from AI on your products? It's your challenge. right? If you're look like if you're working, if you are developing a new version of a bicycle, how AI is going to help you drive like if there is no light, and AI is going to tell you where the the blocks are on the road and things like that. So in the next 5 years, how to apply AI to a particular field where AI is not there yet. In the
Mhm.
next 10 years, I'll be retired, so I'll be by the beach, in Hawaii someplace. So don't care much. But in the next 10 years, we'll see a lot of, you see, there is this new technology that is still not profitable, is still not very functional yet. It's called quantum computers or quantum
Mhm.
computing.
Yes.
And it deals with matter in a different way that the computers nowadays do. And Microsoft ran a test, a small test with one of the chips, one of the quantum computing chips they have created. And if that thing goes to scale, they can have com- the compute power that exists today around the globe in all cell phones, in all computers, everywhere in one chip. So
Wow.
in 10 years, there's a good chance that this thing becomes stable and becomes functional like our computers nowadays are.
Mhm.
And if that comes in, that's going to be important skill to also have, how to program in the quantum world or the quantum chip, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool.
That's cool. So, to end our time together, what is one thing about you or your career that might surprise people?
Well, one of them is, to debunk the myth that in order to have good software, you have to lock yourself in a room and slide pizza under the door, and then good applications will come out of that.
Oh
We
my.
all have these pictures. We have seen movies like that where people get enclosed.
Yes.
There is this sometimes working with the computer is like art. You are an artist, so sometimes when you are doing your art, you're like, I want to be in the zone. And when
Yes.
you are doing development, it's kind of the same thing. You want,
Same thing, yeah.
if I'm inspired, don't talk to me. But you don't
Right.
have this light pizza under the door. You know what I mean? It- it- be- I became a better computer professional, both on data and programming and AI, as I learned to interact better with people. I
Wow.
was so geeky when I was young. That was like, let me stay in my head. But as I
Mhm.
learned how to deal with people, I became better in my professional. So in my profession. So I think that's one thing that surprised myself. I was like, I'm happy with the computer. It doesn't bite back. But
Right. You just can't run away from people skills and knowing how to work in teams.
yeah, at the end of the day, it's what matters, right? People is what
Yes.
matters most. So whatever I do in the computer is to help somebody else. Getting out there and presenting, sharing what you have already learned, it's something that I didn't do much, and now I really strive. I really want to do that
Yeah.
because it's fun to share. You see, there's this thing like knowledge should be public domain all the time. Now,
Right.
if you need me to do something for you, I will charge you for that. But
Yes.
knowledge, we should share knowledge. It should be public domain. That's why I like Wikipedia so much. I actually have their stickers around here because knowledge is public domain. It's you just learn, and then as you learn, you share.
Today was so awesome, Dad. I got to learn so much about your career, how you started. And even though I don't have the same exact career path, there's still a lot of gold to pick from everything that you've learned. And I'm really excited. This is going to be a keepsake video um, for the rest of my life. Just having this moment to interview you is super, super cool. Let the audience know where they can find you on LinkedIn, on Instagram.
Yeah, we have our channel, right? Lacerda Data Labs. You are my producer to it, so you can find good work done in there. We also have it on Instagram that is kind of more frequent, right? Content pops
Mm-hmm.
up there more frequently. On YouTube, you're gonna see longer videos and more technical content. My travels, when I go to conferences and when I talk to people, they usually show up on Instagram. We are also in Substack. We have some content
Yes.
going up there, some classes I'm gonna upload over there. And also I post a lot on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is my preferred social media network because it's a professional one.
So awesome. Thank you for your time today, Dad.
It was great. I love doing this, and we share technical content, but it's also, career advice is always a good idea.
Yes.
Later we can talk about which topics in particular people should learn about, if they want to apply AI to a particular field. But I think this is a good start. So I hope it was beneficial for you that's watching us here, and I see you next time.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments down below. You can also DM us on Instagram like Dad shared. And I hope you have a great day.
Have a good one.
Bye.